y'all. I'm shivering because I'm talking about a really thrilling movie. I'm talking about The Last Night in Soho today, and I gotta say, guys, off the jump, this is one of my top 5 movies of 2021, y'all. But that's just for me personally. Let's talk about it. What's going on? My name is Leo Rydell, y'all. If you're new to the channel, this is Geekly Goods, and here we talk about the latest in movies, TV, with a little sprinkle of anime in there as well, you guys. Today, I'm here to review The Last Night in Soho, which stars thomasin McKenzie and Anya Taylor-Joy, and is directed by Edgar Wright, who directs Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, one of my favorite movies, period. I recently watched Baby Driver, enjoyed that a lot too. Now here at Last Night in Soho, and guys, I am so excited to talk about it. So what is The Last Night in Soho about? An aspiring fashion designer is mysteriously able to enter the 1960s, where she encounters a dazzling wannabe singer. But the glamour is not all it appears to be, and the dreams of the past start to crack and splinter into something darker. Now, like I was saying, this stars thomasin McKenzie, Anya Taylor-Joy, and Matt Smith, and is directed by Edgar Wright. And y'all, I just gotta start out with, I love a slow burn. I'm the type of person who, with my horror movies, I like to sit back and kind of chomp on the material before I get to that big thrilling scare that's gonna come either in the middle of the movie or toward the end of the movie. And this is a delightful way. thomasin McKenzie's character, Ellie, she's this kind of shy, mousy voice-like character who wants to be a big fashion designer, and she starts to really idealize the ideals and looks of the 60s. Well, not quite the ideals, but definitely the looks, the fashion, the long, flowy dresses, the microphones, and it's presented to her through the character of Sandy, who is this character, was an aspiring singer. She's classy, she's beautiful. She's someone that Ellie herself would love and aspire to be. This woman who just appears confident, appears to have all this beauty and all of this elegance, and then throughout the movie, it's a slow descend into something much darker, which I thought was a cool way to just really call out the 60s and how bad those times were and how evil and crooked things could be. Even though on the outside they look to be glamorous, they're not quite that on the inside. So I thought that was a cool dive into just the 60s as an era of time. Also, really loved thomasin McKenzie and Anya Taylor-Joy. I think that they play off of each other really well. I love the shots of the two of them looking in the mirrors and seeing one another, having this very similar on-screen dynamic to where it was almost like you could trade them in and out. I love that about this dynamic and about the two of them, and I love just getting these breadcrumbs to discover more and more as we go through the movie. Really awesome. Another couple of details that absolutely are amazing to me is, of course, Edgar Wright's use of music. Like, his soundtrack, absolutely fantastic. Some of the 60s best pop music, period. Like, he just incorporates some awesome 60s tunes into this movie, just like he does with other movies, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World and Baby Driver. He does that here really well as well. And this movie is a really good chilling tribute to 60s era fashion and thrillers. It's got some shots, it's some pieces in this movie that remind me of movies like Psycho, The Birds, 60s thrillers that were very popular at the time. So I love that he's playing with even like cinematography and shots. And don't even get me started on the editing. Look, Edgar Wright's movies are just expertly edited to where things are so stylish and they are cut and sequenced at the perfect times. But this movie, what's so good about this movie's editing is that it's kind of used to string us along in the story. There are lines delivered, there's dialogue, there are things that are said and actions that are made that rope back around into the story and kind of slowly get this idealized version of what we see in the beginning and slowly trickle it down into what it actually is. That's another thing I want to get into is the twist. I think the twist may be a little mixed for some. There are some twists and turns in this movie that I ended up really enjoying. Some I saw coming, some I didn't. But guys, those are the things that I really enjoyed about the movie. I like that story. Love the breadcrumbing nature of these type of thriller horror movies. I gotta say, it wasn't quite horror. I don't think it was quite that scary, even though in the beginning I was like, I don't think this movie was quite that scary till the third act. So it does make you wait a while, just a warning, but it's waiting in the best way with stylish editing, a great score. a cool story to kind of breadcrumb us through, but what are some things that don't quite work about The Last Night in Soho? So it's like I was saying before, the twists may get a bit of a mixed reaction. I think that it's an interesting twist to me and from my perspective, and I love that there's these little breadcrumbs that kind of make us aware of this happening, but I think for some it may just kind of throw them off a little bit and may not be enough to have waited throughout the movie for. So I will say maybe the twist might not be your forte or your cup of tea, but I do encourage you to absolutely check this out, especially if you're an Edgar Wright fan. Like, look, he is a music fan to a T, and you can absolutely tell through the movie here, but also just if you like fashion, this is a cool look at 60s fashion. I wouldn't say it presents as many looks as something like Cruella, but it does provide us with a cool, stylish look into the 60s, and I do love the odes to old school thrillers. Another thing that may throw some people off is, I was saying the twist may be a little bit, it also takes a little while for things to ramp up and for it to really become a horror movie. So I think that waiting may just be a little bit much for some, and again, the twist, so the story may not end up jiving with some people because of that twist. I know some people are going in kind of cautious, but I gotta say, personally, I absolutely loved this movie. I am going with a 9 out of 10 for The Last Night in Soho. I had such a thrilling time enjoying the breadcrumbing and going through this movie, and Anya Taylor-Joy is such a great actress. Her and thomasin McKenzie are really coming up, and I love Anya Taylor-Joy in so many things. Queen's Gambit, I loved her even in Glass, even though she had a small role. Enjoyed her in Glass, loved her in, honestly, The New Mutants. I didn't really love that movie, but I liked her magic a lot. Whenever I see Anya Taylor-Joy now, I'm starting to become like really excited about projects more when I see her in them. So I'm starting to become a big fan. Guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Are you seeing Last Night in Soho? If you have already, let me know what you thought. If you haven't, let me know. Are you looking forward to it? Are you hyped up? Because let's see, it's a week before Eternals. Feels like it may get kind of buried. But y'all, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button for your boy. And we will see you next time on Geekly Goods.